Hello, 10th grade friends. I miss you a bunch and I hope that you're doing well. I have gotten a lot of questions over the last couple of days about the CCA, and I just want to record this video and I hope that it helps a lot of you. I know that it's frustrating not to be able to be in school to work on this together, have me right in your face to help you out and get your questions answered. So I hope this overview, sort of capturing everything, is helpful to you. I hope it leads to a lovely light bulb moment in your brain where you know what you want to do with your CCA research paper and can move forward with that feeling confident and not feeling stressed. That's really the ultimate goal here. The CCA itself is a literary analysis paper, so you do need to make sure that you are grounding the research that you're doing in the book itself. So it has to be a literary text. It can't just be some random book about dolphins. You need to have like characters, setting, plot, theme, symbols, all that wonderful great stuff that comes with literary text. That's what you want to make sure you're choosing for your book. You will need 2 other sources beyond that for a total of 3 sources. So again, 1 being the book itself, 2 being research-based scholarly articles. I know I've already said this before, Mrs. Hunicke does not, have the Rhode Island Librarian Award of the year, whatever, for no reason. She's spent a lot of time putting together these databases and resources for you. Please use those. Those are already research-based scholarly articles. They're right there for you. She has even organized them by book title, so especially if you're doing your research on one of the books that we've read in class, the information's already gathered there for you. You are expected to write 3 to 5 pages. That may sound like a lot. Once you double space and get all your evidence in there, I promise you it's not going to be so bad. A lot of people have been confused about whether or not they need to be writing like 3x3s or theme statements. You absolutely do not have to do that because this is not a theme paper. This is a research-based literary analysis of a text. If the theme is somehow relevant to the topic that you've chosen, great. You should for sure talk about it in one body paragraph, but you are not writing a theme statement. You do not even have to discuss theme at all. Throw out theme. Goodbye. Rest in peace. You're over. But you do need to make sure you include citations, obviously, because this is research-based and including those is important. Earlier in the week, when you guys were coming up with these research questions, I tried to give everybody feedback, but I want to make sure we are going over these research questions and understanding how they connect to the thesis statement that we craft and then just the overall paper in general. So if you started your research question before even reading your book, and then now you're a couple of chapters into your book and you want to refine your research question, that's totally fine by me. Please just shoot me an email or change it on Google Classroom or something so that I see and can understand that change. You definitely want to make sure you're focusing on topics that are of interest to you. Please don't choose to research a question in a book that we've already read simply because it's the easy way out. You'll get a lot more out of this paper and experience and process by doing something that is of interest to you. If you want to have a meeting, happy to do that with you. We can do a Google Meet, whatever, to try to figure out what might be a better fit for you. But please keep in mind your research questions are going to ask how or why. They should not be yes or no questions. They should not be like fact-based. That's not going to help you when it comes to crafting your thesis. Research questions are phrased to obviously form a question. A lot of you did not include a question mark. I'm not being nitpicky or annoying, but you sort of need that in order to make a question. You have to include the words how or why. Again, that's making sure that you are keeping your thesis like original and arguable, as our Edpuzzle video talked about. You need to make sure you are including the specific topic to be researched in your research question. That also lets me know what you're looking for, and if I come across anything in my own research, I can help you or send anything your way. You also need to mention specifically the book that you are going to research and ground your work in. So if you take a look at my examples on the right side of your screen, how does racism impact the characters and their actions in To Kill a Mockingbird? Great. Have a lovely time researching. How does a weak social and emotional connection with a parent impact one's personality or development in fences? Lovely. Have a wonderful time researching that. Why does Star code switch between Garden Heights and Williamson in The Hate You Give? Happy researching. Lovely. So you'll see from those examples, the yellow highlight is the topic, the green is the specific book, and each of them asks that how or why question. Those research questions are going to focus your research on what you need to find and cater the evidence that the databases spit back to you to be more relevant to answering your research question in general. A lot of people's thesis statements, just as where they stand right now, need some refinement, and that is totally okay and great. Don't feel bad. Feel like, okay, here's a learning opportunity. So if you didn't quite get it from the ed puzzle, hopefully hearing it from me and seeing it written out in this way is more helpful for you. Your thesis statement needs to be specific, original, arguable, and predictive, meaning that it tells your reader what's going to happen later on in this paper. So a thesis statement tends to, again, state the topic, state the position, tell the reader what's to come. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's very similar to your research question. That's great and lovely. A lot of you are still doing this thing where you're like hitting me with multiple sentences and calling it a thesis statement. That is not going to fly. Thesis statements do all of the work that they do in one super powerful sentence. So get rid of all the other nonsense. One sentence thesis statement. It lives as the last sentence of your introduction paragraph, nowhere else. Please stop putting it other places. Makes me want to rip my eyes out. A lot of people's thesis statements from that ed puzzle looked a lot like this, and I just want to make sure that we are understanding what a three-pronged thesis was and can be for you. So you'll remember the prompt asked you to reinvent the thesis statement that said, like, last summer was an impactful summer, whatever. If your thesis statement looks something like, last summer was pretty cool, a lot happened, then you're up in this red zone because your thesis needs a lot of help ASAP. But it's very easy to fix that. If you move down into this yellow column, you'll see like last summer was a pivotal moment in my life because a lot happened. Well, one, we've classed up our language a little bit, and two, we've sort of like talked a little bit about there's something that occurred. This still needs work. You still need to fix it. And then this three-pronged thesis is down here in the green, where it does its job and you can just keep on moving with your paper because you are organized and your reader understands where this work is going to go. Last summer was a pivotal moment in my life since I got a job, went on vacation, and made new friends. Boom, beautiful, love it, move on. If you're having trouble turning your research question into a thesis, just like live on this slide for a little bit. Take a look at how this question of how do relationship norms impact power and greed in Macbeth sort of moves on over to becoming, in Macbeth, Shakespeare's inclusion of a powerful female force, Lady Macbeth, ultimately drives the plot of the play, creates the conflicts, and develops the themes. That's draft one. It's not beautiful, but it's pretty good because it stated the topic, it stated the position, and it told the reader what is going to happen. Thesis draft 2 is a little better and could still be improved beyond that, but if you look down all the way onto the right side, you'll see, through the characterization of Lady Macbeth, Shakespeare crafts a female figure who breaks societal norms, sparks conflict, and shows the consequences of the pursuit of power. So, again, a three-pronged thesis, stating the topic, stating the position, telling the reader what's to come. Here are some other example thesis statements you are welcome to look at, to see, to borrow, sort of. You'll notice that in the thesis statements from the previous slide and then all of these, they're all sort of formatted in this same way. If you are someone who is super structured and you just want to like plug and play like a math problem, follow this formula. That's totally fine. You're welcome to become a little bit more inventive, flip your structure of your sentence a little bit. All that is well and good. but you need to make sure you are setting up your three-pronged using what's called the Oxford comma. I will hear exactly 0 arguments against the Oxford comma because there are only beautiful arguments for the Oxford comma. You are going to have your 3 specific reasons as to why something is true about your topic, separated by a comma after the first one, a comma after the second one, the word and then the last one. Beautiful. Love it. No debates about it, please and thank you. Again, all things evidence, 3 total sources, your book, 2 research articles. Per the usual, 6 pieces of evidence total. You will probably want more just to make sure you are really deeply proving your point. It's totally fine to have more. It's also fine to paraphrase if you're actually paraphrasing and doing that well. And again, per the usual, 2 pieces of evidence in each body paragraph. These last 2 slides, you're welcome to look at on your own time, but they sort of break down the anatomy of what should a body paragraph look like. It's also a great model for making sure your citing is correct. And then this last slide, oh, there's 2 more, I'm such a liar. It's just reminders about citing evidence. And again, you've already seen this before. All I did was change the background color. Thinking about how you can move from being basic when you cite your evidence to being the best at citing evidence and sort of looking at those categories there. Again, feel free to play with the structure, mess around with your sentence order. That helps your writing improve and you earn higher grades, pass your CCA, move on to 11th grade English. And again, the last slide, and again, this is posted also on Google Classroom, just formal essay reminders. The letter I, referring to yourself, should never anywhere be present in your writing. Rest in peace to the letter I. You also are not going to use any other personal pronouns. Please use Control F to search your document for those personal pronouns and delete them. It's silly to lose points for having personal pronouns when you can do something as easy as Control F and delete it. Remain formal and appropriate with your language, please. There are no contractions, no slang. And I know this is different from your history or other classes where you're doing writing. When you are talking about literature, you write in the literary present. A text does not live and then die. It always lives because it always exists, because language is beautiful. Nerd out for a second. Yay for words. You talk in the literary present, you write in the literary present. So Harper Lee writes, Scout narrates, Atticus attempts, whatever. Must be in the present tense. Thank you if you tuned in for the full almost 13 minutes of me yapping about your CCA. I hope this cleared up anything that you might have been uncertain about. If you have any other questions or concerns or comments, please do not hesitate to reach out to me on Remind or email me so that I can make sure you are feeling confident, feeling good, know what you need to do. If this was helpful for you and it helped you in any way, also send me an email or a remind so that I know. If this was a complete waste of your time, you don't have to email me that. You could just go ahead and keep that to yourself. In the meantime, love and miss you all very much. Best of luck with your CCA. Happy Thursday, or whatever day it is when you watch this. P.S. If you watched and listened to me talk for almost now 14 minutes, email me or send me a remind message of the little emoji person with the 2 arms up in the air, like indecisive or whatever, and I will give you extra credit because you watched me talk for 14 minutes and now 3, 4, 5 seconds. Good job, you. Goodbye.